Under the roofs of Paris, I forget how this song goes that they sing throughout the whole thing. It's by Renee Claire and something else, something something. That woman smoking. Smoking's bad for you. Yeah, hello there, Nate Jackson, Criterion Collection Reviewer Guy, trying to get the last bit of daylight out of this camera in this room. Anyway, before the camera gets cruddy. Number 161, Renee Claire's Under the Roofs of Paris, or Sur les Toits de Paris. I think that's how you pronounce it. 1930, 92 minutes, black and white, or French, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so this one was definitely an improvement over A Nous la Liberté, even though once again, it's funny, I just thought about this. This was actually before A Nous la Liberté. And it's funny that the Criterion pulled that stunt again. They're putting they did two movies in a row by the same director, and they put the earlier one before the later one in the spine numbering. There's got to be some reason why they're doing this. It's a conspiracy, and I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna email Criterion and figure this stuff out. But anyway, yeah. So there's that. But yeah, no, I liked it. I liked it more than I liked it. But still, it's not Le Million good. But it's decent. So let's I guess it was one of like the first big huge talking French talking motion pictures, one of the most successful French talking pictures. So I'll tell you about it. So it's about this. He's a street singer named Albert who like sings the latest hit songs and he gives it out to all the people, and he goes around and he sings, and he's trying to warn this young woman whose name is Yola or Lola or Yoda or Yoda or Loda or Yoda or Pola. That's her name. Pola. I was close. Pola, and like this pickpocket's trying to take her stuff, and so she runs away, and then this other gangster who she takes the money, and then this gangster like takes the money from him and gives it back to her and wins her over, and Albert was kind of digging her, but in the end he just kind of goes home rejected. Meets up with his friend Louis, and they at a bar, and they see her again, and they roll to see who will go after her. Then he sees that she's with Fred. Fred's the name of the gangster, and so he goes off, and I'm trying to think of what happens next. I think what happens is they get together. Oh, because they like, I think they go and fight or something, or like she freaks out because Fred's girlfriend like comes in and beats her up or something like that. So she runs away, and Albert like tries to help out, and she falls for him, or she doesn't fall for him, but I guess Fred takes her key, and so she has no way of going home, and she doesn't want to go back home, I think because she doesn't want Fred knowing where she lives. And so Albert takes her home to his apartment, and there's this kind of funny scene where they all fight. They fight over who's going to sleep in the bed, and like at one point she sleeps on the floor, and then he sleeps on the floor, and then they both end up sleeping on the floor in the end on opposite sides of the bed. And the next morning, this guy, I think who's a friend, kind of like a guy that Albert knows, leaves a suitcase full of like stolen like silverware at his house, his apartment, and he leaves him there, and he comes back, and then so Pola and Albert work together now. Pola helps pass out the songs, and Pola and Fred reunite at the singing, and they run off, and they end up getting married. Albert and Pola do. And so they get married, and the police come to raid their apartment, and they find the stolen goods, and Albert's mistakenly arrested, and then until the guy fesses up and says, oh, I didn't have an accomplice, or he wasn't an accomplice. So Albert's freed, but during this time, Pola has fallen in love with Louis, Albert's friend, and they go courting for a while. So when he comes back, however, Fred takes Pola away from Louis and takes her back. And so Albert sees Pola with Louis. No, with Fred. God, this is complicated. So he starts dancing with her, and Fred instigates a knife fight, and they start to fight, and so he ends up saving her, but she ends up running back to Louis because she's kind of in love with him, I guess. And so Albert and Louis fight, and in the end, Albert decides to just give up and give her to Louis, and he goes off and he wishes him the best, and he returns to his life as a street singer, and that's about it. Yeah, apart from that ending, this one wasn't too bad. The ending was just like, oh, come on. It's just like not modern times. I almost called it modern times. A nous la liberté, where this is the unrequited love. Like the love story just isn't like completed, you know. Like this whole movie, it's Albert and Pola, and then suddenly Louis and Pola? Anyway. So yeah, apart from that, it's not bad. I think one of the things that this movie got criticized for a lot at its initial release was the fact that it was released as a big all talking, all sound production. However, like the dialogue only takes up about like a little over a quarter of the movie. Most of it is like just, you know, music over silent film. There's no dialogue, just people just looking around, and you know, there's a lot of action you can fast forward through, and like there's like, and then they'll start talking for like a few minutes, and then it'll be silent for another 5 or 7, 10 minutes maybe. So yeah, I think a lot of people didn't care much for that, or that the movie was misadvertised, I guess. So Rene Clair learned his lesson and added more dialogue by Les Millions, you know. Les Millions, I think, definitely was still weary about talking pictures, but he implemented sound much more appropriately in that film. And then, of course, with A nous la liberté, which I think was after Les Millions, I think. I don't remember. Don't quote me on it. I can't remember anything. Anyway, so yeah, that's the movie. Claire did a good job. Pola is way more attractive actress than Jean, the girl who played Jean in A nous la liberté. Not to compare the two, but you gotta admit the covers are very, very similar. I mean the artwork and all that is really similar to A nous la liberté. So they had those two in mind, but they didn't do it for Les Millions, so it's not a director thing. So anyway, we'll just stop there. I'm gonna give it a B+ because it's definitely better than A nous la liberté. But at the same time, because of all the silent bits and because the story just has a really, you know, carefree ending and just c'est la vie, you know, or however you pronounce that ending, So yeah, B+, not bad. I'd check it out, especially if you're into, you know, seeing, you know, French talkies, you know, one of the first French talkies, if you're into that stuff. So yeah, that's that. Supplements, plenty of supplements. There's a deleted scene. There's a little prologue, like a 3-minute prologue at the beginning of the film that Renee, of course, you know, Claire deleted in the 50s. And it doesn't really do anything to the movie. In fact, it kind of, you know, it works much better without it. It's just a little short film where Albert and Louis flirt with Fred's girlfriend at the beginning, or she flirts with them, and then she runs over to Fred, and yeah, that's how they kind of all, I think, meet at first, or something like that. It kind of sets up the characters a little more personally than just you figuring out what's going on, you know. Oh god, and then the next thing that's on there is a silent film by Rene Clair done in 1924 called Paris qui dort, I think Paris at Night or something like that, or Paris Paris at Sleep or something like that. But I think it was also called in here on the States The Crazy Ray. And it's this weird 35-minute short about like this scientist who invents a ray that freezes all of Paris except for like a bunch of few selected people who aren't affected, and they go about like noticing that the whole world's frozen, and so they take money and they steal it and all that, and they try to like they try to just live it up, and then they realize that this isn't the life they wanted, and so they try to get the world to go back to normal and all that. And yeah. So is that the trailer? The trailer is really interesting. It starts off really kind of lame because it just says some scenes from the movie. It just shows scenes, but the last scene is a scene where Albert and Paula say goodnight when he tries to return her to her place, and they're talking about how she could speak Romanian, and so he asks her to say something in Romanian, and then they break the fourth wall and say, "Oh no, wait, we can't say anymore. What? Because we won't be able to say anything until next week. Why? Because that's when the picture opens. Oh, okay." And then they start addressing the audience like, "Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We'd like to thank you for we'll see you next week for the release of Under the Roofs of Paris." And they show the cat and they talk about the cast and one of the actors, I forget his name, Bill, the guy who plays Bill. Bill Bucket comes on. They drag him on and he walks by and like, oh. So yeah, it was kind of a funny little like surprise, and then there's that, and then there's a 16-17 minute interview with Rene Clair that was done in the 60s on BBC TV, where he just talks about the history of silent film, or like his thoughts on silent film and talkies and all that. And that's it, I think. That's all he got. So that's all we'll say. 161 Under the Roofs of Paris, not bad, not great. Check it out. All right, that's it from me today. Thursday, Ratcatcher, Lynn Ramsey's Ratcatcher, and then Hopscotch is at the library. I wasn't able to get it today, otherwise I'd show you. And then hopefully Solaris and Man Bites Dog and Monterey Pop are on their way, and Down by Law, of course, is on its way. And then yeah, I forget what's after the Monterey Pop, but I'll put a hold on it probably tomorrow, once I get Hopscotch in my possession. And I'm still trying to figure out my schedule for, trying to get my brother and his girlfriend to do Man Bites Dog. I'm hoping, I'll talk to them really soon, but Ratcatcher I'm definitely doing on Thursday because I have to turn it in like by the end of the week. And I'm hoping that I may end up passing on Sunday. We might not do a review on Sunday, and I'll just do Hopscotch on Monday, and then do Solaris on Tuesday, and then Man Bites Dog on Thursday. I'm not sure, because they may not be available on Tuesday. It depends on what their schedule is. I think Thursdays they said were better for them, so we'll try Thursday night, and maybe a late night review because of their work schedules. At least my brother's. So you might not see, if we do Man Bites Dog on Thursday, the 20, actually it'd be April 2nd or 3rd or 4th maybe. Then you won't see me till like late night, but whatever, doesn't matter. Anyway, so that's it for me. I'll keep you posted on Thursday. Hopefully by Thursday I'll have a definite schedule all planned out. And so thanks for watching. Don't steal from ladies' purses, and don't fight over women. Don't leave stolen goods at people's houses, and don't peddle really corny ass songs. Yeah, I said it. Anyway, thanks for watching, and we will see you on Thursday for number 162, Ratcatcher. Until then, au revoir.